You are listening to Within Tolerance, a podcast for machinists by machinist. I'm your host, Dylan Jackson of Protean Machining, and this week, joining me as my catch-up co-host, as always, Chris Zapatini. What's up, Chris?
Living the dream. You guys couldn't see it, but I was raising the roof. So,
Yeah, well, so let's get into the catch-up. What has been going on? You were in Delaware, I believe, last time we spoke, starting
I,
your
I was,
turnkey,
yeah, I think,
dealing with, what was it, complete turn mill,
all right.
horribleness, all that fun
And
stuff.
yeah, we got past that for the most part, which is basically like you just got to work around it and use it's weird because complete true path and like I guess I could also partially answer Graham's question here, which is like complete true path does like it's mostly just cam simulation. You're not doing any like programming, so to speak, inside of it. It's just full kinematic simulation. It works really well, whatever. And I figured out all my issues that I was having with TruePath, which was really dumb and so stupid is because like I was posting out like an O1001 as the file name, and TruePath didn't like that. So I had to like as soon as I like took the O off, everything just like worked, and we're just like cruising now. But you like actually do like a little bit of programming inside of Turnmill because like for your transfer and your cutoff and like your parts ejection and stuff, like you do that inside of Turnmill, or you can, I guess. And but it also works better as like you bring in the NCI files and you convert them to G code, then you edit those, and it's like it's just more, it's it's so much of a process. And like where I'm at is for the most part is like I'm just gonna get everything running and then I'll back document at the end or whatever. Which also makes me think of six types of working genius and what I'm good at and what it just like read me for filth, But um but
I started listening to it. I think
it's
I'm 2 chapters into it now, two or
nice.
three chapters.
It's good, right? Like
Yeah.
you're like, oh fuck. You're like, damn.
Well, it's another one of those ones that I believe you should listen to if you can. Like, if you're someone who
Right.
listens to books occasionally, you should listen to this one because the narrator is quite good.
Right. Yeah, it is a solid story. But yeah, so I think I was in Massachusetts. I'm in Delaware right now. And this project is just like, it's such a fucking nightmare. I, it was material. I mean, it seems to all just kind of come down to material issues, you know?
Right. So last time you had the bananas,
Yeah.
and then
And and we got through that part, and then we started on the aluminum part, and I got approval to run the aluminum part. They're like, okay, this one's good, you can run, but we ran out of material, and we have no more material, which
I
is
didn't realize it was the aluminum you were out of. Like, how can
yeah.
they not get aluminum next day?
I think it's because they want inch and 5/8 70/75 for some reason, which is probably like a quote unquote business decision to like save a couple bucks by not going with like inch and 3/4. Um, so your like cost per part is lower, which I can't imagine like that it actually is really that much. And it's not like on a lathe, like on the Nakamura or whatever, that the time difference, it'd probably be like a 5 second difference between
The single pass difference between
yeah.
those two sizes.
Yeah, and I mean we're going at like 3,000 RPM and like 20,000 per rev or something like that. It's just like ripping material off of there, and it's so bizarre. And so we ran out of material last week because they had a single 4 foot bar, and then they got two more 4 foot bars. So total, we've had one full stick, and just like going through and like getting it all dialed in, and they're like, all right, it's not like we're good. And then that was it. There's nothing left. So I've had one, and then was like, well, do you guys want to, I guess we could just start and there's the tools for the other machine haven't shown up yet, which is also pretty cool. And that material is also fucked. Like, same thing, but it's worse because the bars are smaller. They're like 3/4 inch, so they bananaed even more. And it's like, what are we fucking doing here, guys? Like, this is insane. But it's whatever. So tools for the other machine show up next week. The they have no idea when the rest of the aluminum is going to show up. They just keep saying they're working on it, which is like, I don't know what that means. Like, what do you mean you're working on it? Like, is it coming or is it not? Like, somebody should have a date, I would think, at some point. And so we're just like, let's just start. I just decided to, like, let's start training, let's just use, like, because they have other parts they're going to put on this machine anyway. So it's like, well, I guess let's just start setting that up. Like, if we're going to be down, like, might as well put something else on this thing.
So how does their contract read? Are you there for a certain amount of time or for a certain result?
For a certain result.
So at what point do you just, like, cut and go to your next job and say, like, I'll be back when you guys are ready for me, I guess?
I need to have a conversation with the people that brought me into the project, because things are starting to, like, pile up, which is, it's like I was saying before we got on, like, I have people that are like, so are you going to be here next week? And it's like, no.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not done yet, so probably not. But
yeah. And like, the schedule is just like, it's like, I don't know how this is all going to play out, but we'll get there, just by like pulling levers, I guess. And I am in the process currently of hiring another engineer, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, which will probably, I think he would start in like a month or so. Like, not like now.
Right.
Or anything.
Right. Yeah. So it doesn't solve your problem right now, but
no, but that's okay. I don't need to solve my problems right now. I just, like, looking into the future is where it's going to be better, I guess. So
totally.
Like, I'm still quoting. I can't stop quoting,
Right.
Like, which is
speaking
crazy.
of hires, let's talk about your other hires. How's that going?
I am so admin pilled right now. Like, I've been telling everybody, like, dude, you should hire somebody like this. Like, honestly, it's like better than hiring an engineer, truly, because it's all the stupid shit that, I mean, it's very important shit, like, don't get me wrong, but it's all the stuff that just sucks the soul out of my body, which is very, like, 6 Types of Working Genius, where, like, it's the littlest thing, like sending invoices or purchasing stuff or running payroll, blah, 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 like looking into benefits. Hirsch just does it, I'm like, hey, like I want to move the bank accounts. Like, I want to move away from using this bank account and start using this one for this thing, whatever. And he just does it, I don't have to, like, outside of that, like, one Slack message I send, he's just like, okay. And then he comes back like 30 minutes later and he's like, I'm done. It's like, oh shit. Yeah. It's just like such an instant relief, I was texting Devin Bedoni about it last night, because he's like, I don't know if I should get an admin or like maybe another programmer or whatever. And it's like, I would go admin all the way, because like there's just such it kind of allows you to, like, I mean, obviously you become more of a technician. Like, I'm more of a technician this way, which is like, whatever. Instead of, like, I'm in the business instead of on the business, but also inadvertently guiding, like, working on the business by having somebody who's much better at that shit than I am just do it. And so there's like this weird ability to indirectly build better processes and systems, because he just inherently, that's all he's done, And so,
right. Well, I think it's an important note that just because you're the business owner doesn't mean that admin stuff is where you want to be. What's it called? the E-Myth tells you, you need to get out of being a technician and you got to be the entrepreneur. But like, if that's not what you like to do,
yeah, it really
that was one thing that like really was inspiring about Matt at Penta Machine Co. Like the fact that he recognized that and said, "Hey, I want to do R&D. I don't have to be CEO. I'll have somebody else sit in that seat,
right?
And I get to do the fun stuff that I want, regardless of if I'm the business owner or not."
Yeah, yeah, and it is so much. I'm having like, even though shit's like, there's a lot of active projects, especially like now that Hirsch is there. It's so beautiful. Like I make sure that he's CC'd on like every email with like customer interactions. And so all of it gets captured into Asana. He just like, he's on it. He reads it. He puts it in Asana. There's dates attached to stuff. It's still like very bare bones, but it's like, oh shit, we're like, this shit is moving and it's going to be good. So it's very exciting to see like where it can go. And I can like, the wheels are turning. He's pretty pumped about it. And like, he's only part-time right now, which is nice because it's not like a huge burden, I think I mentioned that last time. It's like, I pay him a decent money. He's happy. Like, and we'll probably bring him on full time, like in a couple months or something like that. Want to get like, I think I just got like 2 more jobs like today or something like that. And like, there's another big one going, or yeah, there's just a couple that it's like, can't stop, won't stop. And this just allows me, like, I was talking to a guy from Selway today, one of the salesmen, and he was putting it like, he's like, you're like, this is like art, So he's like focusing on being like the best artist you can be and don't worry about all the other bullshit. Cause like, just if you worry about the other stuff, then you're not doing the good art. And that's why people hire you, because you're an artist, right? Like, not because you do like, oh, you're good at admin work. Like, nobody fucking cares about that. Right. They want their processes to be good. And it's like, yeah, exactly. And that really, like, I started doing this before reading 6 Types of Working Genius, but then after reading 6 Types of Working Genius, I'm like, oh yeah, like this, it's such a like, this is exactly right. Like, this was the move. It's always been the move. I wish I had done this 2 or 3 years ago. Like even more so now. And I'm like I said earlier, it's like, I just am telling everybody like, this is what you need more than anything. Like, it's especially for people like us who do all the work. I mean, inadvertently, I think in the group text, like in the group chat, like fucking Juan said it today, right? He's like, I'm hiring a documentation person. And it's like, hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's just get all the dumb bullshit off your plate so that you can just fucking rip,
I
like
think it's
Michelangelo.
Incredibly rare for someone who enjoys process development and machining to also say, yeah, I love filling out tax forms and scheduling stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Right. Right. But yeah, I don't like, it's been a good, it makes everything feel a lot less overwhelming to be able to pretty much focus on just the work. And like, it's so neat to be like, hey, yeah, oh, we got this invoice, like pay this bill. And he's just like, okay. And just figures it out, like very little guidance. It's his whole thing. It's one of those things where I don't understand his motivations, because like that doesn't seem at all interesting to me, but right. He's like, this is all I want to do. And it's like, really? But at the same time, I'm sure he's looking at what we're doing and it's like, why the fuck would you want to do that? And it's like, that's fair. Yeah. Sometimes I question it myself,
Right. Well, it was what Andrew Henry was talking about on their episode this week, where he was talking to his employee saying, oh, it'd be fun to do one of these talks one day. Yeah. And his employee just shook his head and said,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh no, I would gladly get up in front of like a bajillion people and chat. I mean, obviously we do this like every other week.
Yeah,
But
I'd
you
much
get to,
rather
like,
do
whip
this
people.
than file my taxes or send
Right.
invoices or anything. Like I am constantly behind on sending invoices to my customers.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. Other people, dude, there's a company right now, like I think it's, I'm not gonna say who it is, but like there's a company we bought stuff for a project, and it's like they're like, we're gonna send you an invoice, and it's like, right, can you do that? I have the money to pay you actually, so like, can you please? And they just haven't. And it's like, you guys, I or can feel it now, where like I'm gonna get to a point where I don't have the money to pay them. All of a sudden, they're like, "All right, we're ready." It's like, fuck, dude, why did
Yeah.
you? Why,
Yeah, exactly. Like, can
why
you
did
just
you
tell
do this
me?
to me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's wild. Well, that's awesome, man. I am super stoked for you. It sounds like such a killer hire.
yeah, yeah. You're getting one next, I think.
We're talking about potentially a part-time, like shipping, receiving kind of person coming up
Oh,
here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We've got a lot of potential shipping on the horizon. We've got a couple of projects that are in the works, and
Well, you bought a fucking bubble wrap machine.
well, yeah, that was outside of this whole thing. That was just I saw it on Uline's, I think, website,
Yeah,
and was like, "That's cool."
I
And
can
then
see
looked
it.
at the price tag and said, "That's not that cool." I think
Right.
Uline wants $4,300 for it
Mhm.
or something, and
Yeah.
I immediately went to eBay and just put an alert, and one popped up from some. There's all these resellers on eBay that are just like thrift stores for
Sure.
mechanical stuff. They
Mhm.
go to auctions and buy stuff that they have no idea what it is, and they had it for. I think they had it listed for $2,000 or something, and I offered
Nice.
them 900, and they countered it 1,000, and I was like, "Yeah, all right,
Sick.
sure." $3,000 off of list
Yeah.
price. Yeah,
Oh.
I'll do that.
Yeah, so that is better than I thought, because I thought you bought it for $3,000, not you got $3,000 off of it.
Oh
when you
yeah,
were
no,
texting.
I got it for a $1,000 ship.
That is incredible. Yeah, I can see it now. You're just gonna have a roll. It's gonna be making them. You're just popping them as soon as it gets made.
I'm bored today. Let's pop some bubble wrap.
Yeah, just like staring into the middle distance. Like, what is? How am I gonna cut this part today?
Yeah, kids have their stupid little popper things. I've got
Yeah.
real bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good buy for sure. I would highly recommend people to check out eBay. I think that if you're not,
Yeah.
like, this is not like a hidden thing, but I think that buying, there's so much distrust of eBay. You definitely have to, pay attention
Right.
and know what you're buying and know the signs of wear and all that stuff, and really ask the questions. Like, don't just buy things on a whim, and definitely don't buy things that you can't afford to lose out if it is crap, if it gets to you.
Right.
But I don't know, drop some offers. Those OMP 400s I bought, I think the one that was like the newest one in box, brand new, they had it listed for $2,800, and I offered him $900, and he was like, "Well, compromise at 1,500." I was like,
Dude,
"All right, yeah, sure, I can do that."
Yeah. That is incredible. You're not
Yeah.
joking.
Brad constantly, like, we have the inside joke of Dylan's being an asshole on eBay today.
Yeah, you're just like, I feel like being like your customer is upset with you, and you're like, I'm just gonna go be a fucking scumbag right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I texted you that. Yeah, scumbag to another OMP 400.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is they either play ball or they don't. And then, I'm here for the back and forth bidding. If they want a counter offer, fantastic. Let's play
Yeah.
ball. And if they don't, if they just like cancel it or whatever, great. It's not for me. I'm not buying anything mission critical on eBay. I'm buying things that
Right.
are things I want, not need right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure. Yeah, you're like, Brad's like, Dylan, where's your other hand? You're like, don't worry about it. I'm in a bidding war.
yeah, it's It's been fun. We got a fair bit of like Rego call-outs lately too from there, and you just kind of have to know what to look for.
Right.
I think when it comes down to it, and ask questions if you want, and really look at the pictures. I've definitely been burned where I didn't look closely at the pictures and there was like a very clear crack in something or like a ding in something. And, you know, at that point that you can't really return it if they say no returns.
Yeah. I forget if it was you or Easton that bought something and like the guy had just did like all the right angles and didn't show like one side of something, and like the side that he didn't show, it was Easton, and it had like, I think it was like capto holders or something, and it was just like fucked up. Like pretty fucked up.
I remember that. Yeah. And that's one of those things, you know, if it's an item that has 4 sides, you better see 4 sides of pictures or ask for that 4th picture, because they might be hiding something.
Yeah, side 1, side 2, side 1 again with a 3, side 4.
Yeah, exactly. Besides that, we've just been, you know, making parts. We've got electricians coming back out tomorrow to finish the lights install on the shop floor. So we'll have
less
almost,
dungeon.
I think, over double the amount of light in the warehouse area. AC, dude, it's a life changer.
Yeah, because it's got to be like in the hundreds by now.
It was no cooler than I think 106 this last week, up to 110.
Cooler is an interesting term there. Yeah.
Well, it was like 98 today, and both of us were saying, "Oh, this is nice."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter in the shop because our AC works well enough that the only way we knew that it was over 100 one of the days is usually we keep the man door open to the warehouse area, and we've got those hanging plastic things to keep the air in.
Yeah.
And Brad was just over by one of the thermostats and goes, "Oh, it's 78 in here," and it's set to 75. And we both were like, "Oh, I guess it's kind of hot out. We should close that door and close it. We'll drop back down to 75." But it's been really nice, really, really nice.
Nice. That is game changer. And so the new shop continues to fucking rip. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. But, you know, we've been making more parts than ever. We feel very at home there. I got the podcast room now that's more or less done. I want to add, you know, maybe a different desk in there, but besides that,
so dope.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with how it came out.
Did you record with Tate already?
He came by yesterday, but we didn't have time. I ended up being kind of in a time crunch, and I wanted to you know, put out 4 questions and all that, and I just totally spaced it. It was more on me than it was on him, but we'll see. We're gonna do something at some point. He came by and gave me that awesome coin, the challenge coin of PC Demus Expert Driver.
Dude, that was super dope.
It's so cool, and it's the fact that, like, you know, he before he even gave it to me, he goes, "This is not to force you into buying one of our machines. I know you're looking at a CMM."
I was like, about to say that.
Yeah, he was like, "Do whatever is right for your company. This is just because of past conversations we've had." He's like, "I know how deep you've gone into PC Demus and how good of a programmer you are, and this is just in recognition of that. Nothing else. Do what's right for your company." And then gave it to me, and I was really. It's like, it's insane how a little gesture like that is so meaningful. And like the fact that he had them made, you know, he goes, "I'm doing this. Like, I didn't, that this is not a flowed down thing from Hexagon. He did this." He said, I wrote up a list of people that I've met that I think are deserving of this, and your name was on there. And I definitely want to, you know, give you one." So
that's killer. That's absolutely killer. But he gave you that Puss in Boots look. It's just like giving you the eyes. Like, this isn't for any reason. But it's like, but if you sign this, we'll be okay. They're like, fine, fuck.
No, he was awesome, because I even told him, "Oh yeah, you know, we're looking at Wenzel now," and I talked to Drew, and I told him how impressive that was, you know, to be able to get somebody that high up, and he told me, "Oh yeah, I totally understand. That's great. You know, we'll be there whenever you start looking more seriously, and we can do a demo and all that stuff." So
cool.
Yeah, he is probably one of the best salesmen I've ever interacted with, because he's not only super technical, but and really at this point, he's just a good friend in addition to a salesman. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And then besides that, I've got a apps guy from Hermla showing up Tuesday, and we're going to kind of dive in and go through all my questions and get some more things nailed down, which I'm excited about.
Yeah. What do we call that? The redemption on their part for like denying your warranty.
Oh yeah.
We can talk about that, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah, because they said throughout the whole process of me buying it that I could get an extended warranty.
Mm-hmm.
And then when push came to shove, it was denied by some higher up.
The scumbag gets scumbagged. Got him.
I got.
Yeah, that's that fucking eBay karma coming back at you. They're like, oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And realistically, everyone I've talked to with a C250 has said, oh, they basically saved you 10 grand.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to go wrong probably in that second year. For us, it was just peace of mind more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And really, when it comes down to it, I'm just frustrated that it was something that, I was told was fine.
Right.
And then when push came to shove, it was just like, oh, no, actually, we're not going to be able to do that because it's a used machine. And I'm like, it has 130 hours when it came to my shop, and you deinstalled it and reinstalled it both times.
Yeah. It was like 6 months old when you guys took delivery of it or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty rude on their part. Yeah, exactly. Like it is ultimately going to be fine. You guys take good care of your machines. Like you're not really like hammering them either.
No. We're doing I keep all my speeds and feeds at very low end of the spectrum because I'm making 2 parts. Why would I want to break a tool?
Yeah. It just
and like you said, not only are we very good about maintenance, but we're only adding more to it. Like I bought a ball bar now for all our machines. We're going to start keeping that data. I just bought test bars for both of the machines today, the BT30 and HSK 63 test bars from Rigo.
They're going to have like a side business on like checking machines all of a sudden.
I could. I'm not going to, but I could.
For sure. Dylan, I need to borrow those.
Yeah, exactly. What was cool is that I didn't even know Rigo made test bars, and then we had, I think his name's Joe West, who's the Western regional guy for Rigo. He came by maybe 2 months ago or a month ago and dropped off their metrology line card. It was like, oh, these things are new for us. We're doing test bars. They have a crazy expensive drawbar force gauge that I would love, but I'm not spending $4,000 on a drawbar force gauge.
Yeah.
They've got like the Heimer competitors now that, looking at their specs, I don't think are nearly as good as Heimer's, but their test bars very accurate, and shockingly, you can just buy them direct. Like I just went to Rigo's website and bought them today, which
that's
bizarre.
Fascinating. Yeah, you would like it's maybe I wonder probably too much speculation, but it's like I wonder if more people like this is a little test run for them. Like it seems like with Haas, that they have all this online tooling stuff as a test run for like maybe you could just buy a machine online. You don't even just talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I would say I'm like 90% sure that's going to happen in like the next 5 years, probably. Cause like, why not you can buy a fucking CRX robot, the Fanuc CRX robot off of McMaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like why, and that's more expensive than some of Haas's machines. So like why wouldn't you be able to just like buy a Haas and have it show up,
Right.
Like, oh shit, you're like on the East Coast. Do you want like overnight delivery or?
Well, I think a lot of it comes from that old world mentality of every person needs hand holding. And yeah, sure. Like again, along with, we've got all these questions about AI and automation and stuff. Along with that, I don't see a technical salesman going away. It just, they're needed in specific like if I'm buying an off the shelf machine, I don't need somebody to come hold my hand. I can pick out options myself, hit go and place the order. But if I am needing a turnkey, or I'm not sure of capabilities, or I have a project and I need advice on what machines to buy, that's where a technical salesman comes in clutch.
Yeah. But it is exactly that, which is like, if I want to buy a machine online, just let me fucking buy my machine, you know? And if I'm wrong, like, it's so fascinating how, like, if you're not involved, then there's really nobody to, like, the customer can't necessarily blame anybody but themselves. But as soon as you have like one toe in that process, like you just dip your toe, little boop, you know, now all of a sudden everything is on you. You know, like I have a shit customer right now who, like, I got them tester tools, you know, from Frasia, like I do with a lot of people. And we went through the process, like I got Joel involved. He's my guy. He's your guy, to get them set up to be able to buy more tools. And they like ghosted him. And this was like weeks ago. And then they broke the second one, you know, of the AX FPSs that we got for free. And they're like, so when's the next one showing up? And it's like, what are you fucking talking about?
When you place the order.
Yeah.
This ain't Amazon, baby. You don't have it on subscribe and save.
Right. And so I was like, all right, well, like I can probably get some coming, but like you guys have to buy them. And they're like, yeah, fine. And then a week goes by and they're like, when are those tools showing up? Like, I don't know. Like, well, I don't know. And then I talked to Joel and he's like, they haven't told me. They filled out the paperwork, but they haven't told me how many they need, and I can't get a hold of anybody. And then they're calling me like, where are the tools? Like, I don't know. You guys aren't communicating with them. And then today they hit me up again. They're like, what's the ETA? And I'm like, who am I giving Joel's contact information to? And this guy's like, and he's like, me. And I'm like, are you sure? Because you're gone in like 2 weeks. So like, who else do I give your contact information to? And then I just did like a group text, and it's like, I was like, you should probably just contact him directly, because like this is a game of telephone right now. And they're like, we need the tools badly. But then they didn't order them next day. They ordered them ground. So like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is happening? And that
is when you buy them, send them an invoice for a 50% markup,
right?
And then say, when this is paid, I will ship them to you overnight. Like,
it's like,
that's insane.
There are, yeah. I mean, like Joel has done this a couple times for me, where like he's shipped tools without like while the PO is in process, you know, and like hasn't been like fully placed, but it is happening. And like so they can get the tools faster, which is like very kind of him, you know. And he was willing to do that, but they just didn't tell him how many they needed. And it's like, and then the owner's like, we're down, and it's like, like, you're not making this my fucking problem. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
well, and are they so big of a company that they can't just throw a couple $100 worth of tooling on a credit card? Or
they ended up buying it with a credit card anyway. It honestly like one of the most insane things. That was just a tangent on I really got off there, but I was like, but anyway, all of that saying, like, all that to say, just let me buy a machine online if I want to buy a machine online. If I if I need a technical salesman, I'll need a technical salesman.
At minimum, at least give me pricing online.
Dude, I cannot stand. It's like why can't you just tell me how much this costs? Like, when I see call me, it's like, God, whatever. I'm not I don't feel like I'm just ballparking this, you know?
Right. Yeah. I need to know if it's $50,000 or $500,000. Give me the rough price. Give me MSRP. If there's deals to be had, wonderful. When I get there, we will get you. I'll get a quote, and you can do all your wheeling and dealing with me. But just I need to know as a business owner how much I'm getting in for.
Right. And it's like, it's such a weird thing. And this is probably just like the evolution of like business and the industry and everything, is that like, you're not going to like in most cases now, you're not reeling one of us in, with like, oh, now I got him on the phone, watch me fucking work or whatever. It's like, just tell me how much it's going to cost. And with like a machine, it's a lot easier. Like I have people ask me, they're like, ballpark, what do you think this is all going to be? And it's like, I don't fucking know. I haven't seen your parts. But like a machine is a machine, I mean, a Matsura could be anywhere from like a MX330 could be anywhere from like 550 to like 650 depending on the state that you're in or whatever. But like, so if you say 600, as a ballpark, that's going to get somebody there, like plus tax, minus tax, whatever. Like, but and like, especially with like I do appreciate Haas doing their like, this is what it is, like
right.
here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I think it's fantastic.
Go. Yeah.
And it's why people end up with a Haas, because it's a known quantity.
Right.
Even as small stuff as like tool holders or whatever, half of these companies you have to email for a quote.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all the updates on my end. I'm stoked for the lights tomorrow. That's going to be heaps better.
Yeah.
Like you've been in the shop. It's not even,
yeah.
It doesn't feel dark, but then you get in positions or in areas where it is dark.
It's like the corners I don't know if you fixed that, but like the corners by the Hermela, behind the Hermela are like, what's going on in there? Like,
oh, it's dark. I have a magnetic flashlight above the tool loading door on the Hermela, so I can actually see what the hell's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of adds like a little bit of mystery to the shop. So it's going to take that. The mystique is going to be gone, but it'll be for the best.
Yes. Yes, it will. 100%. I am stoked for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got some Patreon questions and some stuff from Instagram. From Patreon, Al Watmo asked, what is your biggest worry? What are you most excited about? And what is your definition of career success for this year?
I texted him after he said this and was like, dude, this is like an existential crisis like happening right now. Have you thought about this much or
not really? Like my gut reaction is what isn't a big worry for me. I have used the analogy of a house of cards that I'm building very often for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm constantly adding things to try to shore up the base of my card house, but it always just feels like everything is going to fall apart. I'm late on one job and my mind starts spiraling of like, I'm going to lose this giant customer because that's it. They're going to go somewhere else.
You're like, I should just pack it up now. What did we do? I'm just going to fucking burn everything down and collect insurance money and call it a day.
Yeah. I think that we both tend towards extremely dark humor for a reason. And, it's to cope with the never ending dread and stress that comes along with business ownership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we talk about, I mean, that kind of comes up in one of the Discords or whatever a little bit, which is like, this is hard. It's not easy. I mean, there's a reason it's not easy. Like, and you don't have a lot of like days off. I mean, it's midnight for me right now,
Oh, geez. Yeah.
But which is fine. This was my decision, tomorrow I have like a pitch. I have 2 meetings in the morning and then drive, 8 hours home and hope for the best. And like just work on Saturday, work on Sunday and do another proposal on Monday and then drive back down to fucking Delaware or whatever. And yeah, the biggest, like, this shit's hard. It's hard and annoying, but also the best thing ever. It's so bizarre.
It is the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, for sure.
Yeah. Let me catch. Oh shit! I'm about to recite "Man in the Arena" right now. Hold on. I need 2 minutes. Let me get on my soapbox.
Yeah.
Like when I saw what is your biggest worry, like I told you before we started recording, it's like, yes. And about what,
Right,
it's so like, probably my biggest worry truly is just being able to um like effectively help my like be as effective for my customers, you know what I mean? And like any employees that I might have, like I probably don't care about myself enough, but like whatever. It's like I just kind of figure on my end, like I if it doesn't work, I could just go find a job. You know what I mean? Like it's but if I'm bringing like if all the work that we take on is directly responsible for somebody else's projects and somebody else's business and like their success. So the biggest worry that I have almost always is like, am I being as effective for these people as I can be? And I feel like half the time I feel like the answer is no. And then I have people that are like, it's like, I appreciate what you're doing. And it's like, I'm glad you think so because I feel
Right.
like I'm fucking this up.
Uh-huh.
Like it's like people like this project that I'm on right now, the people that brought me in, the dealer, they're like, you're doing a good job. And it's like, are you like stroking my ego right now?
Right.
Could you like
Am I
fucking,
though? Are
yeah,
you
it's like,
you
I
sure?
don't feel like, they're like, you're doing good. And it's like, I don't think so. I feel like I'm doing a bad job and it's stressing me out. But they're like, no, this is great. And it's like, okay, I guess. Thank you.
Right. Yeah,
um,
when things like that happen, I I catch myself thinking, is the bar so low that my shitty job is good for you? Like
exactly.
there's never
Yes.
any acceptance
It's,
of I'm doing
yeah,
well. It is,
yeah,
wow, you've got really low standards. Good job.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, you people don't know what excellence is. This is a problem because this
Yeah.
isn't it, dude. I promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably like my biggest worry is that it's just like, am I doing right by my people? I guess that's which is like, I don't know. That feels also like I'm saying, like, what's your biggest weakness? Like, I'm a perfectionist, you know. It feels like such a cop out answer, but
No,
that's
I personally I feel that greatly. That is
yeah,
by far my biggest worry, especially this year, is maybe not am I doing right by my people, but I'm at the point where I've been saying now since we moved into the new shop, oh, I just need to get through this spurt of work and then I'll be
yeah.
able to catch my breath and then I'll be able to develop these processes so that things don't suck as much.
Hmm.
And it's just been 6 months now, six and a
Right,
half months of me
right.
saying, just got to get through this week and
Yeah,
I'll be okay. And then I can start actually working on this stuff.
yeah, you should. I do. Every time I think about, I just need XYZ, I think of the pumpkin plan because he
Hmm.
talks about that. It's like, oh, if all you need is just the one big job, the this, the that is like, you're fucking not doing it, dude. And it's like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I have that fucking Joker just like yapping in my ear, and it's like, fuck you. You're so right, but also fuck you. Um,
Don't tell
and
me my deepest fears. Stop
yeah,
talking. Yeah.
yeah, it's like just like quit holding a mirror up to me. Like I don't like this. But that also is why like that is one of my biggest concerns, or that was is always one of my biggest worries, and it directly led me to hiring Hirsch. You know, and so far it's like, oh, I can better be more effective for my customers because I'm not worrying about all this other bullshit. Um, and yeah, it's like it's tough. Shit's tough. Um, I guess moving on from the worry part, it's
Yeah.
like, what am I?
On to more bright things.
Yeah, what
What
am
am
I
I most
excited about?
excited about?
Nothing. The doom and gloom of our existence. No, I mean, I guess like oh God, the last bit is such a fucking killer. I just keep thinking about that one too. Like, what is the definition of career success for this year specifically? Like, I guess being in business at the end of the year. But what am I most excited about? Like, I'm excited about just really, it's like just what I can now that I have like Hirsch, really, like, and an admin person in general. And like, I can just see like the growth seems more like I can grow in a more sustainable way, you know, that things can be more like tangible and not as like reactive as it was before. that it's like, oh, I'm putting all these like pieces in place so that when we do turn things on, it's like, and it's interesting because the the person who I'm talking to about hiring is asking a lot of questions, and it's like, oh, I have like there's answers for all of this, and I can have Hirsch do this and Hirsch do that, and like I can answer this and whatever, and it's like, oh, like we're actually like the last employees were like a good beta test, for doing it right this time. So I'm excited to see the growth. That being said, like one of my like 6 types of working genius or whatever, like after taking the assessment, it was like wonder and like
If you haven't started playing the drinking game of drinking every time Chris saes that,
dude, I am
now's a good time.
six type of working genius pilled. Like it's it's so good. And like that's another one I'm recommending that to everybody. Get an admin, read 6 types of working genius, change your life. Is wonder, which is like big picture stuff, and that's the shit I really like, I guess. And so it's easy to see like, oh, I'm excited about like I can actually see light at the end of the tunnel, you know. Um, and that is like the definition of career success for this year is like ending the year with 2 like full-time employees, like an admin and an engineer, and out of debt is like that's what would be success for this year for me. um is to be just like fully like cruising, you know.
For sure. I'm most excited. I'm actually really excited for IMTS. I think that's going to be a ton of fun this year.
Right.
Getting to see everybody and hang out. Like you and I get to hang out with relative frequency, which is nice, but seeing all of my friends and past guests and all that stuff, I think is going to be epic. Definition of career success for this year. I mean, the snarky thing is just like surviving, like making it to the end of the year would be super cool. But
I don't want to say I survived. I want to say I thrived.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that is a joke, but also I think ending the year in a good place financially in the new shop is going to be epic. You know, we will have been there for a year. It was such a big step to move, add all that rent, add the Hermla payment, and to end the year on a good note is going to be just kind of a reaffirmation that we made the right choice, that this was the move that we thought it was, all of that. And yeah, we've got a few little projects that I can't talk about yet, but if those go off, like I think they will, I'm very excited for seeing where those go as well.
Cool. Yeah, I guess that's another thing. I'm excited to see what you do.
Yeah, likewise, dude. I'm stoked for all your growth. Like every time you text me and you're just talking about how great having Hirsch on and stuff. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is like, it is so nice to get messages like that after you had a few months of like sad Chris.
You know? It's like, Dylan, I'm sad again today. I miss my mom or whatever. And you're like, oh, change the record, dude.
I have never said that for the record.
You're like, boring.
Next.
Yeah. Oh, where? You miss your mom?
I'm not Jason. I have never been that harsh.
Well, his mom's dead too, so you can do it. It works. It's okay.
All right. Let's see. Ryan at Meticulous Engineering asked, he wants to hear the process with detail on what it takes for me to make an episode of the podcast. And he expanded on that question of like what
the winky face.
Well, yeah, he made a few jokes. He said, like, how do I find guests, equipment that I use, what type of editing is needed to be done, how much of the conversation typically makes it on the show. So guests I usually find as people I've talked to on Instagram. I usually shy away from people who reach out to me.
Yeah.
Specifically lately, I've been getting a lot of
Chinese ads.
Well, advertising agencies, like US advertising agencies that have reached out and said, hey, my customer so-and-so is doing XYZ business that's tangentially related to your thing. I think he'd be a great guest. Will you do this? typically I just don't even respond to those.
Mhm.
Like I treat them like spam email because
Yeah.
they feel very spammy.
Spammy. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
friends
Anyway,
on. I
here's
try
the
to be
promo code for Kennametal.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is I've been very. I hope that it's come across in these podcasts that I don't want to advertise. Like that's why I have the Patreon is because I want to keep doing this. I want to keep upgrading equipment and making it better and better. But I really don't want you guys listening to ever feel like I'm shilling something for you. Like if I talk about something, it's because I freaking love it usually.
Right. It is so like one of the things I hate the most about some podcasts is like there's some podcasts that are like good, but are all like borderline like unlistenable, I guess, because they're just so much fucking advertising. It's like, how are you guys like, why is this is a 30-minute podcast and there's been five like 30-40% of this is ads. Like, what the fuck is going on here? You stop every like 5 seconds to like do an ad. Or like I love the Flophouse, but they do one chunk like 3/4 of the way through the episode, and it's like 15 minutes long of like ads, and it's like, dude, I fucking hate this so much. This is so dumb. So keeping it the way it is like very nice. It just goes straight into it.
And if I did an ad, it would be, if this ever happens, like Power Grip, if you want to sponsor me, give me a 15% off or 20% off coupon to give to my listeners.
Right.
And like, I will do that for sure to like pass on things that I know are good. Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, and now it's time for an ad break for BetterHelp or like, whatever. Like, or even worse.
Let's go get your fucking dick pills here. Let's go.
Right. Or even more specifically, like if it was, like you said, Kennametal or Seco or what, any of these brands that I like don't really use. Like I've talked about Go Drills. I use those a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be shilling the entire line of Kennametal stuff because I just don't use it. It is what it is.
Yeah. We shill Chatter.
Yeah, I'll shill Chatter because I use it. And I love Pete and I love like what he's building there. But it's things that I use. Like they're not paying me to say that. They just they make good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Shill Squad Assemble, baby.
But besides that, I find people like that. Typically schedule it all through DMs or texts. As far as equipment, I've got a Rodecaster Duo mic interface those I started using about a year ago. I think I had a Scarlett Vocaster before that, but it didn't have nearly the amount of gain to drive a good microphone. I've got an SM7B mic at both my house and the shop now.
Baller.
They're so good. Like I told you for the longest time, I had the MV7 before that, which is their like, oh, it's the same thing, but different. It's cheaper. It's not. It's not as good. And I've got I think that's basically it. I've got a random mic stand. I've got Shure in-ear buds that I use at both places. Right. And then I just upgraded the mics that I send out to guests to. I have to look it up. They're like Rode something.
I can't remember.
I can't either. It's one of their USB microphones. Works great so far.
You look that up? I would say I use this Audio Box Go. It's like $30 or $40 XLR interface because I use the SM7B also, and I'm on the road a lot. And this thing kind of rips. I don't think we've had any issues. For the money, like the setup that I have, like the microphone's obviously the most expensive part, but like I've had this mic for like 5 years. And this is a good setup. Like if you want to get into it cheap, because I think yours is like $200.
Something like that. Interface.
Yeah.
Is even more than that. I want to say it's $300 or $400 or something like
damn.
that. Because it can do 2 mics.
That's right.
And
that's
all,
right.
leveling and all that stuff internally.
Yeah.
So the one I send to guests is the Rode NT USB Plus. So that's the newest one. I was using Elgato Wave 3 mics before that, but was having a lot of issues with, they don't play nice with Windows native drivers. So you have to download their app a lot of times. I was getting like a 50% fail rate with guests of whether or not they were going to work or not without them downloading stuff. The road ones are plug and play so far and seem to be much higher quality. So,
damn.
Yeah, and I've got some other, nicer headphones that I send out with those too. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than editing, I pass it through 3 programs: cleanvoice.ai, which gets rid of mouth sounds, denoises a bit, and I think gets rid of some gaps. I pass it through Auphonic, which does leveling automatically, does some EQ stuff, transcribes the episode fully, creates some of the descriptions that I use. Sometimes they're absolutely god awful, and then sometimes they're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I edit in Descript, which is it transcribes the episode fully, and then I can edit the audio like it's a Word document. So like if I delete the text, cool. It deletes the audio that's associated with that text.
That's hot.
Yeah. Well, it makes it super easy for me. Like if I am listening to because what I do is I just mix it down, send it out of Descript without any editing, unless I know that there's already something I need to pull out, listen to the whole thing at work, usually write down time codes and words that I need to take out.
Right.
And then I can just search for those. Like I can Control F and be like, oh, I need to search for Haas, and like go and find something we said. Or
like, I already know you're going to cut the 30-minute breakfast monologue at the beginning of this episode.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was just for me, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
And then as far as how much makes it into the final episode, 99%. Like, I don't know, Chris, you've recorded with me and then heard back episodes.
Yeah.
I cut very little.
Very little. Yeah, that's true. It's awesome. Yeah. It's nice.
And I'm lazy. Like don't make me cut if I don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, it does help get the episode out faster,
Yeah. Like, it gets it out. And realistically, unless somebody tells me, hey, I didn't like how I said that, I'll cut that out. That's pretty much it though. Like I don't know. People come on here to share their voice. I want them to share their voice.
Yeah.
Cool. Like let's just have a conversation and shouldn't need to cut anything. So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I guess now I make the graphics and stuff in Photoshop after Travis at Alien Tool. He made a whole template for me and taught me how to do it. And
oh, that's sick.
I've made the template an absolute mess, and he's going to have to help me kind of fix it at some point.
Classic.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever used Photoshop. It is the worst workflow, at least coming from like professional softwares in manufacturing. Like nothing is the same. You would think like, oh, I'll hold Control and scroll on the wheel to zoom in. Ha, gotcha. Nope, we're not going to be like anybody else. We're going to use Alt instead.
Dude, sometimes like in Photoshop, you select something and you're like, oh, I'll just hit Escape to deselect it. And it's like, no, you have to right-click deselect, you dumb idiot. And it's like, oh, right, obviously. That makes sense.
Or you like try to hit Enter to finish something, and it's like, no, you got to hit the check box, you stupid idiot. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like, it's like, you're not an artiste, obviously.
Right. Yeah. I don't detect a pencil that you're using, so clearly you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's that's something I do. So I make the little graphic, do the black and white edit or whatever, select the subject,
I do
brush
like that a lot.
Cool. They come out great. And like, I give so much props to Travis for he basically looked at what I was doing for the infographic or whatever and just said no. Said that will not be for my episode. And then for the following episode, he was like, no, that looks like crap. You need to do this better. And then for the following 2 or 3 episodes, he's in Germany, and like we made the time zone work, and he jumped on a screen share with me and walked me through, really held my hand and was like, all right, select this. All right, do this. And then watched me do it and said, okay, now send it to me so I can fix all the things you just screwed up.
That's beautiful. Shout out to Travis being a G.
100%. Yeah. So that's pretty much the episode. Yeah. Let's see. Northland. Oh yeah, we can do Northland and Dan's question at the same time because they're both AI related. So Northland Manufacturing
What?
asked, do either of you guys currently use AI programming to get your programs roughed in? He's been slammed lately and wondering if the AI software is more powerful tool versus a gimmick.
Mhm.
And then Dan said, besides programming, what are other aspects of our business that we would not mind AI taking over for you?
Let's see. Currently, no, not really. Though we do work a lot. Like we being like, I think both ZC and Dylan work a lot with Toolpath. Like Al and Justin over at Toolpath to like help them. We're not using, at least I'm not using any of the automated stuff at the moment, but I do plan to in the future just because, yeah, I don't like fixtures or something like programming fixtures are is kind of a waste of time. It feels like sometimes it doesn't take a long time, but it's also like, I mean, we're getting paid for it, but also I'd rather just like really use that time to do something else most of the time. So currently, no, but will be in the future. I've given Justin quite a few of the fixtures that we've already made to see how the strategies compare to what I did to what they did, but it works pretty well. Like, you know, I don't know anything about Cloud NC or whatever. I just know about Toolpath and like Cloud NC. I mean, that seems to work, I guess, but I don't know. It's so hard to know like what's smoke and mirrors and what's actually like real at the moment.
Yeah.
You know,
the things I've seen that Cloud NC does, a lot of the toolpath choices it does seem very lazy is not the right word, but like it's not what I would choose. Like they use weird bounding boxes and stuff. And like, I don't know if you watched Jeff Hooper's video on Cloud NC versus Toolpath.
No.
So like Cloud NC made its toolpaths much quicker because it was all on machine. It didn't have to send it to the cloud. And that was like the version you can buy now, whereas it was versus Toolpath's beta engine, and Toolpaths took longer to generate, but I want to say the cycle time was like a third. Wow. It was like 15 minutes versus 5 minutes or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of like the 3D printing argument to a certain extent, you know, where it's like, it's like, I think like we both had this discussion with somebody at some point, which is like, oh, I could machine that faster than 3D printing it. And it's like, right, but I don't ever have to like, I don't have to babysit this. I don't have to do anything. I just dump it on there and it just works. So it's like at that point, it's like if it takes like twice as long to generate something for me, but it's all in the background, I'm going to pick the one that's giving me the better strategies.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. If it's all automated, I will choose the better one. Right. Clearly.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now I don't use it yet. It's still in beta. I'm planning on starting to use it fairly soon. What I'm seeing in demos and stuff, like Al has been posting some stuff that he's done. I'm pretty impressed.
It's progressing quickly. I think you and I both started talking to Justin around the same time last year, and to see where they were at to where they are now is like pretty impressive, because it was like a standalone software before, and now it's in Fusion and has like that web interface and everything, and it's like, damn, this is sick. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And they're pulling some fucking heavy hitters. Obviously, like they got Al, they got Tim.
Yeah.
Like holy shit.
Yeah, I'm stoked for him.
Yeah.
And then as far as what other aspects of my business I would not mind AI taking over, pick and choose anything. Like all the rest I don't care about. Like, and even with Toolpath stuff, I'm planning on it. I see all this AI stuff as automating the stuff that sucks.
Right.
Like, I saw I think it was a meme or something that said, I was promised a future where AI would do all the physical labor so I could do all the art and fun stuff. And instead I'm getting a future where AI is doing all the art and fun stuff and I'm having to do all the physical labor. And it's like, I want AI to do all the stuff that sucks. Like, have it automatically send my invoices for me. Have it answer dumb customer service questions from potential customers that are like, oh, does this part fit in your machines? It's like, nope, sorry, it doesn't. Thanks anyway.
Dude, we should do the AI episode. Shit. Yeah, it's tough to say, like seeing the part that it what yeah, invoicing, payroll. I mean, everything nowadays. I mean, this is another thing that came up in like the group chat or whatever, like today, which is everything is AI assist, you know, like literally everything. And it's like the AI does this, and like, oh, you're managing projects with AI, or you're doing like invoicing with AI, or like you're gonna buy a toilet with AI, and,
right? Yeah,
like,
it's like nobody asked for this.
Yeah,
nobody is asking for this. I think I told you, or I said on the group chat, that my Descript, the editor I use for the podcast, came out with what they call their underlord AI. And they're like, oh, you're still the overlord. You're still the master. This is your underling. And I'm like, this is the dumb. A, it's the dumbest branding you could have gone for.
Yeah.
And B, I don't want it. I wanted to just do the basic stuff well. Can you stop?
Right. And you're like, I don't want to be daddy to this thing. Please don't do this to me. Like, I just want it to work.
Yeah. I don't want to train your model either. Like, it's not going to be good for quite some time. Just let me edit my podcast, please.
Right. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. It's so I don't know necessarily. Like, there's certain things where I could see a world where, like, if the automation stuff gets like really, really good, and like the I guess it's the computational geometry stuff, where I like, if it knows what, like, how, like, what our style of a project is, for instance, that it's like, oh, we have this part and it's a 5-axis and it's going to be like a Matsura or something, that I could like dump all that shit in there and it'd just be like, well, here's generally what this would cost you to do this. You know what I mean? Because it's
or
based
even
on,
for you, I could see it like, if you could have Asana auto generate all the tasks associated with something, you know, you tell it like, hey, here's the 3D model, here's roughly what kind of machine we're putting it on, figure it out, and it like lays out all your timelines and all that stuff. That would be killer.
That would take a lot of the guesswork out of it, you know. And I can see that happening, you know, like even with like between Asana and like Toolpath, for instance, like it's all kind of like those pieces are there. It's just like, how do you connect them? I think it feels like how we went from like cable to streaming, and now we basically have like a more complicated cable service, but it's like more expensive and like cable disconnected
with steps,
and shit just kind of like goes away and whatever. I feel like we're like, AI probably seems like it's gonna go that way, like how everything or maybe I mean, to a better analogy would be like car, like the infotainment center or whatever, that every fucking manufacturer came out with their own, and then it ultimately ended up just being like, you got CarPlay or Android Auto, you know, like, which are the better options. It's like, these guys have way more resources. They are software companies. You're a car company. Do the shit you do well. Just give them the basics. And I feel like all of these AI tools, which are probably built on the same things generally, you know, I just need to like, I don't need like 100 different things with AI. Could I just have like one thing or two things with AI that can just handle this shit for me? If that makes sense.
One thing, and I'm watching the video again right now just to make sure I was right. So like, for the longest time, I've been shouting from the rooftops that like, I think that all of this AI intelligent manufacturing stuff, there needs to be a softjaw and fixturing module. Because like, so much of that just sucks. Like, making like generic softjaws sucks. And I saw that Cloud NC today released a softjaw designer tool in their thing. And again, I have no idea how it works, or if it works. You know, I don't know if it's just as simple as like, oh, we Boolean your solids together and just cut the softjaw. But like, that's the kind of thing I want to see AI do, is, you know, the stuff that is repetitive, that sucks to do every time. Just knock it out of the park. Make it easy for me.
Right. Yeah, it's like doing the complicated 5-axis stuff. Like, you're a long, long way from me trusting you like to do that.
Well, and not only that, I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy like toolpathing, drilling random holes. Like that sucks. Do that for me. But the finishing stuff and like choosing the finishing strategies and making the part look pretty, that is the stuff I enjoy. Let me do the stuff I'm good at.
Right. Yeah. Just solve high level problems all day, every day.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is if you are looking at AI tools and you're in Fusion and you haven't developed good templates, either container templates or right-click templates or both, do that right now. That will save you time. Every time I've done it and invested a little bit of time, even just make like a drill and tap block and put the miner for every kind of drill and tap you do commonly and template the spot, the drill, and the tap.
Right.
And then just have those as right-click templates and you're never having to find those tools again.
Yeah.
They're done. And you can, like with hole stuff in Fusion, you can even give it a range. So you could just say like any hole in this range is an M3.
I don't like that as much, but I see the value in it, but I also see, I think somebody was it AJ or something made a mistake because he relied on it too much and he got like a edge case that saw the holes wrong or something.
You got to check your part. Like AI is not going to do this either. AI is going to definitely screw that up too. But it at least lets you.
I was mostly meaning like from the template aspect, just like selecting the holes. I like that better versus the range.
However you want to do it. But like for me, a 2.5 millimeter hole is 98% of the time going to be an M3 hole for my customers. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would definitely invest the time in doing that.
Yeah.
Before spending the time spinning up into
like straight up AI. Yeah. And it just makes you better in general versus going with like, well, I just need to rely on this other thing. Like the templates will take you a lot further typically. It makes you better at the software.
Cloud NC and Toolpath are going to want to build your tool libraries. You're going to want to know what speeds and feeds run.
That is the unsaid thing a lot of the times is like you still have to do a lot of work. It can't do, I mean, it just goes back to what we say with like automation and whatever. It's like you can't just like buy a tool and then like there is no silver bullet, like you need to do the work. So like if you're going to do the work, you might as well build your templates and then you build yourself a baseline against like something to measure the AI. Like, is this actually good? Is this actually going to work for me or not?
Yeah, 100%. So definitely work on those if you're feeling overloaded. I realize I'm also being a giant hypocrite right now because there's so many templates and things that I know I need to do, but man, I just need to get through this one last week and I'll be okay.
Yeah, dude. Tomorrow it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna be golden tomorrow.
I can call you out actually because it's tomorrow. Your tomorrow is happening for me right now. So today, your tomorrow is today for me. So
so I should already be
fucking
done.
templates, dude.
Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see. Nick Ackerman asked, do you have any advice for managing people or machinists older than you? Usually I kill people with kindness, but I'm about to kill this dude with a cat 50 to the noggin.
Yeah. Definitely advocate. I will say murder's okay. That's the official stance of this podcast.
No.
Yeah. I would say, there is a fine line between I mean, obviously it's like a cultural thing and like a person by person thing and whatever, but like most of the time you kind of have to like there's a certain level of big dogging you need to do on these guys to like, if you kill them with kindness, they're just going to like, in most cases, just run right fucking over you. And I will like die on this hill. I've said it on here a million times. You just cannot treat all people the same way. Like every personality, like I think that is one of like the biggest things that I've learned, like managing people, managing customers, whatever, is like you just cannot treat every person the exact same way, because like it's gonna killing people with kindness will work on like, I don't know, 60% of people say, and then the other 40% of people are gonna be like, that's fucking fresh meat. I'm gonna
Right.
eat this
That's
guy
weakness.
for yeah.
I'm getting it. Yeah.
I'm good. Like he's like, kill me with a cat 50. He's like, I'm gonna kill you first. Like it's
Yeah.
just not happening. So if said guy is not taking to the kindness, like I would say just like resist a little bit, you know? And I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but like big dog him, you know? You're the boss. Like be the boss. But you like not, and I'm not saying like flip a switch and like go extreme in the other direction necessarily. Like you can't quite do that, but I would say slowly work into like being more authoritarian with this person, to because like they probably like, I mean, they probably just need it, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because it's, if kindness isn't working, then there's, violence is the answer, obviously.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find with people like that usually you have to resist, like you said, you have to resist the urge to get down to their level where
Mhm.
clearly they're being immature,
Yeah.
and you just have to establish what you expect
Right.
and just hold them to it, and don't,
hmm
there's no explaining, there's no nothing. This is what I need you to do,
Yeah.
and this is when I need you to do it by, period.
Right. Yeah. And I will recommend the book, Six Types of Working Genius. No.
Drink.
I think 1 Minute Manager, 90 Minute Manager, or whatever it is, by Ken Blanchard. It has like, it's very, very quick read. It has a really good section on this. Like it's something I read like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago at this point, and has like stuck with me this whole time. And it's something I think about with people all the time, with managing people all the time. Very good resource for that.
Awesome. Dig it. Let's see. D Shelton 96, and I had him explain this, so I will explain it to you. He said, any thoughts on launching Skill Gap Insurance as a school community with a K?
Yeah.
So that is something, I guess it was co-founded, or he's part of it, Alex Hormozy.
Yeah. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. It is. Did you look it up?
I looked it up a little bit, and I saw the guy. He's just like there,
Yeah. So it is a social media kind of thing, but like social media combined with masterclass kind of. And so you can have paid communities where people get incentivized to post good things because they get points for good posts, and then that can potentially unlock more content on these paid channels.
Yeah.
It sounds like, so I told him, I was like, I'm super skeptical on this, because like looking at a few of the classes, it just looks like a bunch of get rich quick schemes,
right,
like all together. And he said that that's exactly what he thought. And then I guess his wife was looking for some kind of continuing education on something, and they went there and actually found like a fantastic,
interesting
community.
Yeah.
So I initially was like, nope.
Yeah, it sounds like
hard
Herbalife,
pass.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, no, it works. It's like, yeah, I'm sure it works, but like, there's like a whole scheme to it,
Yeah. But he said that there's basically no manufacturing on there. He's part of a 3D printing one right now that's free. But yeah, even if you look at the 3D printing one, like one of them is like, oh, make money with 3D printing, and it's $50 a month. And then you get access to a bunch of their models that they say are, certified to do well on Etsy. And
I hate that. Like that is like all those like as seen on TV, like this is how you make money investing. Just give us a bunch of money and I'll tell you how to do it. And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make a bunch of money by selling your class to suckers. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so, yeah, I was very skeptical at first. It actually does look kind of interesting. I was kind of like scheming today after he sent me that question of like, oh, how do I do a within tolerance, like
Yeah.
video thing on there, maybe.
I am very into the idea, obviously, of like having stuff online to like help people. That's why there's like the GitHub and stuff. It's just ultimately like kind of what it comes down to is like time, you know? Like, is there time to like do videos? Because I mean, like, obviously there's ambition to do like macro classes and probing stuff and whatever, because people have lots and lots of questions about that. But it's like, what, like, as of right now, I mean, I like the idea, but that I don't know where I even have the time to like do that. I have a lot of videos that I've taken and need to like put together, you know?
Yeah. Going back to Dan's question, you want to know something I want AI to do is I want to just be able to feed 3 camera streams to AI and say, this is the point of the video, cut it together, and like just leave it and have it a rendered video pop out with fancy slides and all that stuff.
Because there's like I took like a bunch of footage of the MX100 when I was doing MX100 training. Like the last little bit that I did was I took a bunch of shots of the probing, like all 3 probes with like primary and like B-roll and everything, and like that's the easiest part, you know, is getting the footage. But now I have to like cut it all together, and it's just been like sitting in the GoPro for, I don't know, a month, 2 months, you know?
Right. Yeah. I'm the same way. But like Brad and I have wanted to film a few videos in the shop, right, and we keep saying, "Oh yeah, next week we'll do it. Next week we'll do it."
Yeah, it's always next week, and it's like, oh well, I can do this, and then like I'll do it when I get home, or I'll do it after work today. And then you get home, and you're like, maybe I just won't do that. You know, maybe I'll have this like hour or 2 to myself and like decompress. Wait,
yeah,
hold on, flash the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, you've been using it?
I got fucking like 40 hours into Hades.
Hey man, I guess if you're in a hotel room, you know, waiting for the next day, what better thing to do?
Yeah, it is. It's nice. Like before we were recording, like I had finished a proposal and was just kind of like, well, I don't really want to, like, I've just been like cranking so hard. I just like fire that thing up and do like a run or something, and then come back to it, and then get back to work, and it's like nice. Just something to like break up the monotony of like, I mean, I would say staring at a screen, but it's like I go from one screen to the other screen, right. But it is just better, you know, for the noodle.
I completely agree. I think that having little breaks like that is so invaluable.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, man. Well, that moves us on to what did you research this week? What's been going on?
A lot of this week was like, well, I guess like this finishing up, like kind of getting Camplete back to like firing on all cylinders, you know. True Path, not Turnmail, fuck Turnmail, but True Path, getting that going, really dialing it in for my RoboDrill customer. Like we have it, it's pretty good right now. Like this is the same guy. They're like, well, we want these things, and it was like a spindle flush before the tool change, and I had it like, this is it was just so annoying because it was like M26 M1 tool code, and he's like, I want it directly above it's just like such specific formatting. I'm like, technically it is, like in terms of like how the code reads,
right?
Like,
yeah, as it executes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's like whatever, and like figure that out. And probably the one that pissed me off the most was like, oh, code reads a G69, and it's like, bitch, I downloaded the programs. Like, you added a second G69 to all these programs, like, but just making sure that it's like formatted, like getting shit formatted for however they like it, you know. That's been a big one. What else? I have a project finally that uses the Sputnik, the Triag Sputnik or whatever. Have you
What
seen
is
that?
this?
I don't know if they call it that anymore. It's that thing that's got like 8 vices. So it's got the like 4 vices perpendicular, like all around the bottom, and then it's got 4 on top. It's got 8 vices total at an angle.
Oh,
You've
that
probably
sounds very
seen it.
familiar.
Yeah. I think they don't call it the Sputnik anymore because Russia. Um, but that thing's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's called the Tricentro now. It looks
Right.
like maybe.
Yeah. It used to be like purple and shit. I
Yeah,
think
there's a
it's
bunch of videos on YouTube that call it the Sputnik.
yeah. Yeah, then, the company that it's or the namesake invades a country and starts a war in Europe, and now you can't call it that anymore.
Fair play. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know. Like I've been so I don't have to do as much research. I mean, right now I'm just kind of in a mode where I'm just cranking for the most part, you know. Uh, it's good. It's a good place to be, you know. I like it.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that.
What about you?
Uh, well,
How to
let's see. I
how
think
to
we're gonna buy.
scumbag on
Huh?
eBay?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah. I've been scumbagging on eBay,
Yeah,
buying a
you're
bunch
like,
of stuff.
how can I do it more effectively? That's what you're researching.
We put out for quote for another duplicate air compressor. That's going to be some really nice
I thought you already
redundancy.
had that, but the extra dryer showed up.
Yeah, the dryer showed up. We're going to replace that pretty soon. We've got a lot of airline stuff to do. We need to run in. Right now, we've had just like I don't know. It's on a 100-foot reel, but we've had a snake of an airline running basically around the corner into inspection.
Right.
And so we need to punch a hole in there and actually do some runs into there. We need to install the new compressor whenever it shows up and the new dryer.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really that I'm researching there. I mean, like I knew I wanted a duplicate of the compressor. I did look through the manual though, and I can run RS-232 cables between them so that they both turn on and off with the same button on either compressor, and they can run
cool.
either lead lag, or I can just run them on a different schedule, or like there's a million options actually.
Have you like decided, or are you just gonna like see what you like better, or like just like load balance and run them on a schedule?
I'm thinking scheduled on opposite days because right now my compressor runs most of the day, but that's fine for a rotary screw. Like that's kind of how they like to be.
Yeah.
So I'm not really I don't need more pressure, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I don't really need the lead lag. I'm thinking that just having them scheduled, Monday through Saturday on opposite days, that should be plenty. So yeah, that's been the biggest thing. We're waiting for our updated ball bar. As soon as that gets in, I'm going to run ball bars on all the machines and get like the initial data for them all. Trying to think. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Nothing really special.
Yeah. Also just cranking. Yeah.
Just cranking.
Like
yeah.
Next week, you're going to start researching.
Yeah. Next week, everything will be fine. Everything will be back to normal.
It will be beautiful.
I guess I have been researching wire EDMs too. I have like a vague idea of potentially adding one in the near future.
Fanuc C400.
That's literally the page that I have up on my phone. I'm going through my past tabs, and like that is the 400 IC is the one that I had been looking at.
Yeah. And they like very simple, very powerful thing. Like of all the things, like they crush. Their threader is so good. And like Mitsubishi's good, Makino has wires, but those like their fucking threader's like weird and complicated, it seems like, and doesn't work that well. And there's a lot of wear items inside of the like weird wear items with Makino. I would not buy one of those personally, having worked on one. Yeah, but the Fanucs rip.
They seem like a good option. I'm sure they're relatively inexpensive for what they are. Fanuc is very good about building a cost competitive machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know that we could even run one without running more power to the shop. So that would be a killer. Like, I'm not going to spend 50 grand on running more power to the shop to put a 100 grand machine there. That's I don't know that I would.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It was a vague, harebrained idea that I had one morning, and I was like, oh, maybe.
I like it. It's a good one. I think it's a great.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Give me a win from this week.
I mean, I got more work. That's a win. I did like when I also ordered a new laptop for my new employee,
Oh, baby.
I mean, even though like I'm kind of hedging my bets a little bit on this one, but I'm like, well, might as well get it coming. Like, he'll probably take my old one and I'll get the new one. Which is like, I gotta have some perk with doing this. But
that reminds me, actually, I need to buy another computer as well. A couple computers. I can say it on this podcast because this won't go out till next week. So Ethan Patane, past guest, it will be our intern for the week next week.
Let's go.
I know I'm going to record with him. I'm debating how we're going to do it. I'm going to talk to him and see if he wants to do like a little bit a day or what. But I'm super stoked. But that also, it's been great because it's been a real kick in the pants of like, hey, you need to get your shit together for when you have an employee. And so I upgraded to the newer permissions and Fusion so that I can like kind of give granular permissions to somebody. We need to add more computers. So I'm gonna add a new computer to the podcast room because I don't need a high-end graphics card to host the podcast. Yeah. And then I'll use that one. Ethan will program on that one, and then that one will become either inspection or 3D printing.
Oh,
after that. Yeah. And then I need to add one to whichever area doesn't get one. So
sick, dude. That's awesome.
And I'm stoked. I'm gonna have him. Right now, the plan is to have him do the full automatic calibration program and make the fixture and everything for the Hermla.
Yeah.
So he shows up, I think, Wednesday, and then he's here for about a solid week. And so that's the thing I've tasked him for right now. And if our ball bar gets here in time, then he'll also learn to ball bar all our machines and do that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be like a master at it by the time he's done too.
Exactly.
A little genius over there.
Yeah. Well, because I was like, what if I had an employee as skilled as him? What would I use him for? And it's high level projects that I don't have time for right now.
Yeah. So you're super excited to have like a little test run. Would this be like your first time having somebody like this?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So it's
been like Brad and I forever.
Yeah. So this is going to be like really fun and probably like fairly eye opening as you get into it. Like, oh shit. Like, I didn't even think about these things as having an employee,
100%. I am. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about it, like mainly just because as the co-owner, I kind of see all of our foibles very open. They're gaping wounds to me, not like hidden little things. So
yeah,
that always makes me uncomfortable. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. And you're going to come out of it like, oh, hell yeah. Can't wait to hire an employee.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely need to. I think shipping person first, because we just need like a 20-hour-a-week employee or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
shipping,
CMM
invoicing.
Probably towards the end of the year. And then potentially like apprentice kind of style thing. I need to go to Pima and talk to the instructor there and be like, hey, who can we bring into the shop?
Right. Yeah. I think I've asked you this before. I'm actually like positive it's like the co-op thing. Is there like cause out here on the East Coast, like that's what like, Ethan's was doing with like Moog or whatever. Where it's like you just spend a semester working someplace and getting like school credit for that, which is sick. I don't think
I have heard potentially that there is something like that. I
at
have
Pima?
not. I don't know what it is, but I need to
Yeah.
talk to them about it
All right.
because that would be
Sick.
cool too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it'd be nice to have somebody for like 3 months and then you can decide and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll see. I don't want it to be at my last job. There was some kind of co-op thing with Pima, and it was not the people who came through it did not seem to be there by choice sometimes.
Oh, cool.
And so
Yeah.
like they weren't the strongest employees. Like there was a couple of them that were pretty strong, but a couple of them you were like,
Right.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
True.
if there's a co-op opportunity and I can get people who really want to be there and really want to learn,
Yeah.
fantastic. Sign me up. If there's
Right.
not, I'll figure it out a different way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sick.
Cool, man. I don't think there's any new Patreon members this week, but as always, thank you to all the Patreon members who make the show possible. Thank you for staying up late and recording with me, as always.
Yeah. I'm instantly going to pass out after this.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and I will be back next week.